Bogare. Armenta didn't seem to be ready, but now he's definitely not ready as his leg.
Most of you will never know what it's like to get hit so hard that your body doesn't know the ground from the ceiling. But in the sport of boxing, the chicken dance is often a fight ender.
He's in trouble. He's in real trouble. It's over.
And once you're doing the chicken dance, it is damn near impossible to defend yourself or even think about counter-striking. This is Fighting as Art, and here we go. And the award for the craziest ring walk goes to
Entourage singing.
Sharif Bogare certainly had momentum on his side as he stepped in there with Rodolfo Armenta.
Bogare is unbeaten, 11-0. The Lion saw him enter the ring with that.
And he decided to assert himself with powerful punches early on.
And they're swinging away early. Right hand from Bogare. He leaves him side.
In these opening exchanges, he was simply too fast and too accurate for Armenta.
He can have a little success with that left. It did not land flush. You could see that Bogare.
It's those shots to the side and back of the head that provide the perfect conditions for a chicken dance, and that's exactly what happened in round 2.
So quickly by the quick-handed Bogare. Armenta didn't seem to be ready, but now he's definitely not ready as his leg.
Armenta's corner were wise enough to know what was coming next, and so they threw in the towel, saving their man in the process.
Right now, settlement. No, but Bogare needs to stay calm, and that fight is being stopped to call.
Trevor Berbick might have been an excellent fighter, but a 20-year-old Mike Tyson was about to brush him aside with terrifying ease. A new era was about to begin, whether Trevor Berbick liked it or not.
I've got goosebumps. On the line, the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world.
The tension in the room was insanely high, and Tyson was clearly ready to take this man's head clean off.
Mike Tyson kind of feeling him out here, but he goes right away. You get the idea now?
Brutal shots tested the champion's chin early.
You get the idea that Mike, as soon as... Oh, right hook right there. Notice...
It was obvious that Tyson didn't respect the power coming back at him, and so he pushed forward with no fear.
Left hook is Berbick, and Tyson clips him with the left hand. Look at that combination, and Berbick ready to go, but he stays on his feet. Another right hand clips him. He can't take shots like this very long. Wow, with the right hand is Mike.
The 60 seconds between rounds 1 and 2 were not enough for Trevor to recover completely.
BC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Trevor Berbick and Mike Tyson. Tyson goes to work right away, and he gets Trevor in trouble, and he's down. He'll have to take the standing 8 count as he steps right up the count.
But when the hammer came down, boy did it come down.
On his way to becoming quiet. Bangs the body. Wow, with that uppercut is Tyson. Catches him with a right left hook, and he goes down. He goes down. He should be able to get up from this. His legs may be shut. They are. As Trevor Berbick falls back in the rope. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. He's got the heart, but his body won't let him do what his mind wants to. And he's counted out.
When Michael Dokes took on the great Evander Holyfield in 1989, he had no idea what he had signed up for. And these heavyweights didn't waste any time setting a high tempo.
Only 11 months ago that he TKO'd Carlos Sugar de Leon to unify and become...
Dokes was actually having some pretty solid success in the 3rd round, letting the world know that he was clearly not a pushover.
There's a short right hand on the inside, and now Dokes showing some of that hand speed and volume combination punching that you rave about in the heavyweight ranks.
Holyfield started to take over in the later rounds, meeting Dokes with no hesitation whatsoever.
The corner of Evander Holyfield. They know how important this is. Going after.
In round 10, one shot changed everything, and all of a sudden, Dokes' legs were no longer beneath him.
Been so willing. Oh, it's a big left uppercut by Holyfield.
And for a fighter as good as Holyfield, putting Dokes down was no big deal from here onwards.
You gotta put those combinations together.
Oh, short left hand on the inside. Big shot. Richard Steele collects Holyfield.
Vitaly Klitschko was in truly top form when he put an absolute clinic on Danny Williams in this matchup, and Williams knew he needed a lucky shot to take home the win. You'll notice just how big of an effect Klitschko's shots were having on Williams' balance.
Sie haben an seiner Beinarbeit gearbeitet. Schöne Treffer jetzt von Klitschko, aber der kann nehmen. Der Williams kann nehmen.
It was clear that Williams was trying to lure Vitaly into a big counter shot, but in doing so, he was putting his chin in the line of fire.
Auf den Stühlen hier.
And once Klitschko found his first huge punch of the fight, Williams was in trouble, and his balance was all over the place as he chicken danced around the ring.
Mit der Linken zunächst, aber wieder. schwer getroffen. Und denken Sie dran, im Schwergewicht reicht ein Schlag. Das könnte das Ende schon sein.
Even though he stood up and survived, he was still very clearly trying to box on skates.
Schon in der ersten Runde hat ihn am Boden gehabt. Und wieder schwer getroffen. Mit der rechten, mit der linken hinterher.
Even as the fight wore on, it was clear that Williams' equilibrium had not fully recovered, and Vitali knew it.
Ihren Wetteinsatz zu erklären. Schwerer Treffer. Mit der rechten voll erwischt.
At this point, Klitschko was hurting him at will, and Williams' chin had lost all durability.
Da war der Fuß auch noch dabei.
Thankfully, the ref did Williams a favor after this knockdown, deciding that he had finally seen enough.
Wegstecken kann. Aber jetzt fällt er wie ein Baum. Ich glaube, das könnte es gewesen sein. Ich glaube, dass der Ringrichter abbrechen wird und so ist es.
If Zab Judah thought that his sizable reach advantage was going to help him get the better of Tszyu, then he thought wrong. The big challenge for Tszyu was overcoming the insane speed and reflexes of his opponent without leaving himself open to be hit on the way in.
Here we go.
Well, he's going to come out and put the pressure on his Tszyu, but one of the things he doesn't want to do is be reckless because Zab has super reflexes and great...
Zab was incredibly dangerous in there, and Kostya found that out the hard way.
The early stages of the fight will be pivotal. He's nailing Tszyu here. Tszyu holding on.
Round one was a tricky one for the Aussie legend, but he came into the second with a different edge to him.
You can see Zab on the inside holding Tszyu.
In this round, he was clearly having an easier time figuring out his opponent's rhythm.
Tszyu on the rampage there, but tied up by Judah Wise.
The timing of Tszyu was getting a lot better, and you could see how he was avoiding every trap that Judah was trying to drag him into.
Nice right hand and left hook by Tszyu, one of his better combinations.
With momentum on his side, Tszyu finished round two with a huge shot that absolutely demolished Zab's chin, leading to this ridiculous chicken dance.
And ending strong. Down he goes. A right hand. He's in trouble.
He's in real trouble.
It's over. JD stops the fight in the second round, and it's over to Tszyu. A right hand.
What seemed set to be a run-of-the-mill night at the office for Seth Mitchell back in 2012 turned into something a lot more violent. The fight began with an aggressive Mitchell pursuing his opponent Jonathan Banks.
But the problem for him is that he's been fighting since he was about 15 years old.
At first, Mitchell's pressure was clearly the defining factor of the fight, and his shots were clearly punishing Banks.
Or is he the big kid in the schoolyard you don't want to mess with?
Banks grabs and holds it.
In round two, Banks clearly had a better idea of what he was up against and began setting traps for Mitchell to fall into.
Banks gets in a jab.
Banks is trying to lay trap. He can land a right hand.
And in one pivotal moment, he sprung the trap.
Crowd oohed and awed over that. There's the kind of mistake that Larry Merchant was talking about. That's a perfect example of the kind of trap.
Later in the round, Banks hurt him badly once again.
That's a good way to stabilize.
Oh, we heard him
Another
again.
big shot by Banks.
Oh, we heard
Another right
again.
hand.
He's
That
hurt
goes down
again.
again.
The third knockdown was enough to seal the deal, and as Mitchell struggled to get back to his feet, the referee mercifully waved it off.
Banks finish him right here.
And Banks tries to get it done. Third knockdown of the round. And that's it. The fight is...
When the elite bantamweights Orlando Canazales and Gerardo Martinez collided, the world knew they were in for something special, and they wasted absolutely no time getting after it. Canazales went down briefly for a moment, although it was clearly a slip. His plan was clearly to draw Martinez in so he could counter him big in the pocket. Eventually, he landed a punch that totally destroyed his opponent's balance, which is something that will signal the end for any fighter caught in front of Canazales like this.
He's not been one to break up anything.
It was obvious that the ref knew this as well, and sure enough, he saved Martinez from a much worse fate. We have some super featherweight action for you next, as Edwin Valero welcomed Michael Lozada to the ring. Valero stalked him early, letting Lozada know that he did not fear his skills or power.
その挑戦、この試合から勝ちますと2ポイントが与えられることになりまして、まだメキシコも十分逆転の可能性。
Valero wanted to see exactly what he was dealing with and how much caution he should take.
差を詰めていきまして、まず最初のパンチを。
Then, out of nowhere, like a cobra, he struck.
見ましたけど、緊迫感がありますよね。やっぱパンチがあるっていうことはやっぱり。
いきなり入ってきたのが左のストレート。
Once Lozada decided to stand back up, he pretty much sealed his fate there and then.